Hi, everybody. I've had an absolute blast recording your championship intros on audio and also on video. And for those of you that didn't know, the videos can be done special exactly the way you like them because these are green screens and we can do them with a scene behind me. Do you want a fighting scene? Do you want a beach scene? Do you want a race car scene? Any scene you want, we can give it to you. It's your theme and my pleasure. Just write our offices and we will answer you with the exact fee involved and how it'll get done. So here we are, and now it's time, and it's your choice. Cheers!
From the shores of Malibu where the waves are pumping, to the Great Wall of China, and back to the streets of Las Vegas where the UFC is coming. We are live. This is It's Time Radio, the show where we talk about what you think about but may be afraid to voice. Do not worry, we will voice it for you. We talk about everything on It's Time. No holds barred radio, folks. I'm here with my co-host, my producer, TJ DeSantis. TJ, another week gone by, another week of life gone by, another week of 2024 gone by. How are you?
I'm good, Buff. I'm good. Thawing out a little bit. Toronto was cold, man.
Toronto was cold, but you know what? I got to tell you, I've not been in the mountains in a while, and not that Toronto was in the mountains, but good brisk mountain air, good clean air. At 14 degrees, I found it very invigorating, very refreshing to be standing out and breathing that nice brisk fresh air. It felt so good going in my lungs. I felt like I had an oxygen tank on, and I enjoyed it. And the other thing I enjoyed about Toronto, as I always like to kid and say, I've never met a rude Canadian in my life, just a number of inebriated ones.
Right.
But the nicest people in the world. I mean, the courtesy that all of us were given, the fanfare, the energy from the fans in the arena, which 20,000, sound like 100,000. It's got that UK, energetic attitude to it, which every city has its flavor, every city has its energy, and every city's great for us when we go there. But Canada's is very special in its own right. And along with that, the food, the restaurants, to eat at. It's amazing, the choices.
Yeah, it's a city of great culture, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So very enjoyable. I think 9 Canadians were on the card. I think the win ratio was probably 50-50, if I remember correctly. I'm not sure. Maybe you could do better than that for me.
No, it sounds about right. I don't have the stats in front of me, but yeah, I mean, everyone came to fight. There were some close, tough fights there.
Very, very close, tough fights. We're going to talk about a couple of the tough fights here. We'll get into it right now. If you want to go UFC talk right at the beginning, let's get into it. Okay. So obviously the big fight on the card was the Sean Strickland, Dragus Duplessis. Pardon me. I just got to have a cold plunge. I just did a cold plunge about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Or 30 minutes ago. And for the first, I guess because I turned it down a bit.
How cold are we talking?
I had it down to 50.
Okay.
Usually at 40, I think it's like 49 to 55 is the good point. I had it at 53, but my hands are so cold right now. It's kind of throwing me off a little bit. I love the cold plunge. I love it. I do it every day. I love it.
What is the routine after the cold plunge? Do you take a warm shower to get heat back in your body?
I don't. I want the cold to go through my body and have the effect. So you stay in the cold plunge for 3 minutes.
Right.
No more.
Mm-hmm.
Gary Brecka, Dana's guy, who's very big on the cold plunge, says maximum 6 minutes a day, but not more than 3 minutes at a time.
Right.
That'd be like two cold plunges. And I just let it settle in, enjoy the cold. Definitely. And as far as inflammation, as far as body, if your arm's sore or your sore workout the day before, I mean, it's pretty amazing, but it's so much more than that. That's only like 15% of the benefits. I mean, there's something called cold proteins, which develop or which get ignited in your body, shall we say. As far as like reducing fat content on the body, it's even better than, according to some people, like a lot of cardio. Cold plunging, it really has an effect on you too.
Wow.
Make your mind feel, releasing endorphins, all that kind of stuff. It's got a lot of different benefits. So
what's crazy to me is we were talking about Toronto, which was, in the single digits at night. People don't realize that 50-degree water, that's a lot different than 50-degree air. You know what I mean? When you get into that cold of water, it's like sub-zero air temperature for your body.
without a doubt. But again, getting back to Canada, uh, I wish we could go more. It seems like the trips are too far spaced apart.
Well, I mean, this was the first time back to Toronto since COVID. There was a show in Vancouver last year. I mean, I think it'll all come back. There'll be more Canadian shows for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So really enjoyable. Toronto's where I blew my knee at the Rogers Arena. Remember that?
Right, I remember.
Yeah, I remember it very well too. So all good. Okay, let's get into the show. Sean Strickland, Dricus du Plessis. How'd you have it?
So I wasn't scoring it round by round in the moment. I don't have a problem with either guy winning. I think it was a close fight. It wasn't a robbery per se. I can see why you would maybe lean towards Sean Strickland, but wasn't mad at the decision by any means.
No, it's one of those decisions when I got in the octagon, it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
It wasn't a total disappointment. Felt bad for Sean that he, fought with the eye tear, the cut. I mean, it definitely is one of those cuts where the blood got in his eye and
Sure.
beard. I will say Sean is one of those people, just like George St. Pierre and others, Kamaru Usman, who utilizes his jab very, very well.
Yeah. He's a great boxer, phenomenal boxer.
Yeah. I think we're actually going to see him. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Sean Strickland in one of these boxing matches at some point in the future.
I mean, the UFC would have to sign off on it, unless we're talking about after his UFC run is over. I don't know. I mean, I just want him to fight MMA. I think, he's one of the best in the world at middleweight. He's going to run into DDP again in the future. Probably fight Izzy again in the future. There's a lot of viable options for him. And he's a tough out for anybody. So I'm even though it's a loss and maybe a step back for Strickland, still very excited to see him continue his campaign at 185 pounds.
I agree with you completely. And we're going to see du Plessis and Israel Adesanya at UFC 300. Was that formally announced? Is that definite?
That'd be news to me.
Didn't I read something about that?
I don't know. I haven't read that.
Okay, then let's take that off the chart. Sorry, I thought I saw something in the news about that because all these fights are being announced for UFC 300.
Yeah, but a lot of people are just putting posters up on Twitter.
That's where I got confused again too, because I remember I got duped into that with a poster of Conor and McGregor.
Okay, so here's the
give me the laydown.
I'm just reading this on. I'm trying to find like an actual website talking about it. I don't feel like any of these are real news sources.
That's the problem with.
Okay, so here's one. Oh wait, hold on. Let's go back one more. This is from MMA Fighting. Dricus du Plessis. Israel Adesanya at UFC 300 sounds amazing. He scoffs at Hamzat Chimaev. As he sat in front of reporters, UFC middleweight champion Dricus du Plessis joked about his appearance after a hard-fought title win over Sean Strickland at UFC 297. So this is back at the press conference. He's basically just saying, yeah, I'd love to fight Izzy. But, I mean, again, it'd be surprising to me if that was added to 300.
Well, it'd be surprising to me too, because it's not that du Plessis took a lot of punishment. Obviously, his face showed a lot of punishment. Let's say he did take a lot of punishment.
What's this quick?
Pardon me?
This is quick. I mean, UFC 300 is not that far away.
No, it's too quick. It's too quick because medical suspensions are going to come down.
Well, I mean, medical suspension goes away after just getting cleared by a doctor. I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah.
I don't know what his cuts are like exactly, but
no, it's just too quick. He needs an 8 to 10 month training camp. It's too quick. It's
10
too much.
months? No,
8 to 10 weeks. Pardon me.
Okay.
I just got out of the cold plunge. I'm telling you, it's funny. No, I'm not going to blame it on that. I screwed up. 8 to 10 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I don't, think it's a bad fight. If I was du Plessis, I would take a minute to sort of settle into life as being a champion.
Yeah. And enjoy being a champion. Relish the moment.
Yeah. We'll see though.
Yeah. Take the most of it. All right. Raquel Pennington and Mayra Bueno Silva.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Raquel.
Yeah.
15 years.
Happy
15 years, I think she's been fighting. 15.
Yeah. A staple of this division. She got her hand raised. Maybe not the route that many people thought she would go about it. She didn't necessarily stick to the wisest road and path to victory, but she still got it done. And she was a pretty big underdog. I think around 3-1 underdog against Silva. Happy to see it.
I did not know that. She was a 3-1 underdog?
Close to that, yep.
Wow. Wow. Boy, I'll tell you one thing about Myra. She was definitely getting excited when I announced her. She wanted the biggest announcement I could possibly give her.
Yeah, she was pumped up.
Yeah, she was pumped up. Well, good for Raquel. Good for Myra. By no means is Myra over. She'll be in there doing her thing very soon again. Neil Magny and Mike Malott. Neil Magny never ceases to amaze me. This guy's been around a long time, in there doing his number. Pretty brutal ending for Mike Malott, but congratulations to Neil. There were a lot of good fights. The Arnold Allen fight with Mozar. Brad Katona coming in, doing his thing. Okay, let's talk about the Charles Jourdain, Sean Woodson.
Oh, let's.
Right. So let's just talk about that. There was a thing on the internet. I got in the octagon, and at first people thought that I announced it wrong.
Nope, you didn't.
I did not announce it wrong.
I double checked. I know exactly what the problem was.
Yeah, it was audio. It was them hearing.
I mean, kind of, but not really.
Well, that's what they told me in the octagon. The referee, Jaron Villel, he couldn't hear me. One of the fighters said they couldn't hear me. A couple other guys.
Oh, maybe that was the case.
But here's the key factor. Normally, before I go and announce the winner,
mm-hmm.
I always tell the referee who won.
Right.
We were rushed to get him in there. I didn't get to Jaron in time. And when he didn't hear, I guess there was some confusion when I said, Charles, it sounded whatever. And he raised the wrong arm at first. I felt bad that
he didn't
that's
raise
what
the
happened.
wrong arm. Charles raised his hand.
Was that it? Charles raised his hand?
He thought he won. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then it was one of the situations where if none of them heard correctly, then yeah. So I talked to Sean Woodson about this earlier this week, and he said that he didn't really hear. He thought it sounded like Charles. But when Charles raised his hand, like in those moments, Bruce, you don't generally think that everyone else is wrong, right? You think that you probably misheard and you go by everyone else's reaction. Charles thought he won. He thought he heard his name, whatever it was. So he has that reaction. And then Sean just goes, oh, damn. And I was in the arena. I couldn't hear over the fans necessarily who had won, but I watched the broadcast back and you were plain as day. It wasn't a mistake on your behalf or anything. But, I said to Sean, if it was a regional event, Charles might have ended up just walking out with a win because the ability that the UFC has with their high-end production to hear it and get it right, they were able to, Dan Cormier was able to, put that to rest right away. But a regional event, you just kind of raise your hand, maybe everyone will go with it and it gets written down the wrong way.
Got it. Well, you know what? To all the people on the internet that were so kindly willing to say that I screwed up, I didn't.
No.
So I'll leave it at that.
No.
But I knew that going in. I never get bothered by what I read on the internet. But all you have to do is go back and listen to it. I just felt bad, as I always feel bad, because I want fighters to enjoy their moment and get the most out of their moment. But in the end run, everybody did.
Do you tell the truck who won when you get the scorecard?
What happens is, we're a well-oiled machine. There's one of the UFC employees that's by the octagon, like Heidi Dean or others, and they come over with me, and it's their job to tell the truck.
Okay, yeah, because like a lot of people were asking, who knows before you tell the world, and like for me, being the play-by-play guy, it's not always articulated to me, but I do hear sometimes, especially when it's really shocking, who has won, because the truck generally knows because they need to have the graphic ready, especially if it's a weird one where like it's a majority decision or a draw, something like that.
Right.
You want to have that lower third be right and accurate. So interesting little tidbit there.
Yeah, and like there'll be times too when I'll get in the octagon, like in the championship fight with Strickland and Duplessis, and even Dana won't even know who won the fight at that point.
Right.
So it's all, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes when the show goes over, we're sped up. Like, Buff, get in there, get them together. We've got to get the thing, the pay-per-view starts, in 10 seconds or something like that. So it's live TV, folks, and anything can happen on live TV. That's just the way it rocks. All right. So now one of the other fights that I found to be just excellent, Jillian Robertson, Polyana Viana.
Yeah. Great win for Jillian.
Good for Jillian. Good for Jillian.
Real quick, so it looked like Winner Silva, the highest she ever was a favorite, was at about -225. So not as high as I thought, but still, over 2-1 favorite at times. She closed at -170 or so, but still Rocky, with a Rocky-like performance, getting the underdog come from behind victory.
Very cool. Very cool. And speaking about UFC 300, one of the big fights that was announced is Kyla. Is it Kayla or Kyla Harrison? Kayla Harrison.
Kayla Harrison, yep.
Yeah, she signs with the UFC, and she's going to debut against Holly Holm at UFC 300. That should be a very interesting fight.
Yeah, she's never fought at 135 before. It'll be interesting to see how she can make the weight. She did judo in the Olympics at 175, and most of her fights in PFL have been at 155. She had a fight in Invicta where I think she weighed in at 146. I think it was her lone featherweight fight. She's a big athlete. It's going to be tough for her to make that cut, but we'll see how she does.
Wow, 170?
Yeah, in the Olympics. Yep.
Wow, that's going to be a big weight cut.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I guess it's the only way she's going to get in the UFC, and she grabbed at the opportunity. So good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her. All right. Well, the show's coming up now is I'll be in Vegas for February 3rd show coming up next week.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Anaheim on the 16th. Looking forward to that. And then as far as Super Bowl is concerned, I will be doing something for Super Bowl week. I think I itched on this last time. I'm still not allowed to talk about it. But I'm talking about before the actual Super Bowl game. So I'm excited to be in Vegas. That whole Super Bowl week is a whole week of celebrations. There's so much going on, TJ.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely. I mean, it's really in a lot of ways the biggest week in sports, mainstream sports for sure. And what better city to have this go on in Las Vegas? It's going to be a spectacle.
It's going to be a spectacle. Let's talk about the football games. Last week on my picks, and I forgot if I gave them on the show, but I went 100%, 4 for 4.
As you do.
Yeah, on the playoffs. It just works out.
I mean, it's pre-written, right?
Turn at any time.
The script writers wrote this back in August? That's why the colors are the way they are.
Yeah, I know. I've heard all about that. I don't get caught up in all those things. That's like
the Buff. My goodness, the thing
NFL Super Bowl conspiracy theories.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. But what are you thinking? What are the final two teams going to be?
I think it's going to be the Ravens in San Francisco. I really like Mahomes. I really like Kansas City. I just think that the Ravens are destined to probably win the whole thing. Is what I'm thinking. Now, the line right now is Kansas City +4 against the Ravens -4 points. I took the bet early. I bought the Ravens down to 2.5, -2, and to win by a field goal. At this point, if you can take the Ravens down to 3 or 2.5, I go with the Ravens. But actually, you know what? Kansas City +4 points is not a bad bet. I think this is going to be decided on a field goal. This game.
All right.
So we'll see. Now, for the Detroit Lions in San Francisco, the line now is Detroit +7.5. I think it's an excellent bet because it's a lot of points. Detroit has proven themselves to be a very big powerhouse, playing well in key games. So my pick is, again, if you're betting right now, the way the points lie, I would go with Kansas City +4, and I would go with Detroit +7.5. But I do think that Ravens in San Francisco will win.
Fair enough.
And that's going to be your Super Bowl. Anyway, that's my feeling right now. I could change that come, next Sunday. But that's how I feel. I'm pretty steadfast. I just put a boatload on the Ravens anyway, so I've got to go with the Ravens. So.
All right. Now we know where your head's at.
But remember, my team's the Philadelphia Eagles, and sorry to say, they just how's the term go? Drop the ball.
Sure.
The last 4 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
So, and from what I understand, from what I've heard, is there's a lot of changes being made in the back office of the Philadelphia Eagles right now.
Yeah, it's that time of year, right? Like
that
a lot
time
of
of year.
That
time of year.
Turmoil.
Also, too, Harbaugh. The coach Harbaugh.
Yeah, Chargers bound now.
He's going to be now the coach of the San Diego Chargers.
Yep.
They must have thrown a boatload of money at him for that one.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. He's a larger than life coach. Number 1, number 2 market in the country. Makes sense for him to be here, coaching an NFL team.
Yeah, I think so too. Now, it's all over the trailers all over the place. The remake of Roadhouse with Jake Gyllenhaal,
Yep.
um, Bruce Buffer, and co-starring Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor making his foray into films, and I got to tell you, it's tailor made for him. The role. Did you
Yeah.
see the trailer?
I have not seen the trailer yet. I need to click on it. I haven't had a moment to watch it, but I was there that night that they filmed the fight scene and all of that. Multiple times, I think they filmed it. So I'm interested. So Bruce, you know this about me. I'm terrible with movies. I've never seen the original Roadhouse. I don't know if that's good or bad.
Oh my
Um,
God, it's a cult classic.
yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I'll watch the new one first.
Watch the original. Try to watch the original before you watch the first one. It's actually a really fun movie.
Generally, when you do that, though, you're disappointed with the new one. You know what I mean? So I feel
I
like
think
maybe I
this
should
new
do it in
one,
reverse order.
knowing the director and producer of the film and the kind of work that they do, and from the trailer, which is usually a good sign of what the film is going to be like, it looks like it's going to be a very exciting romp.
Is this going to be a Amazon Prime film? Is that what I read?
It says Amazon, so I'm gathering that probably it's not going to be in the theaters. It's going to be on Amazon.
Interesting. And that's not really a sign of what it used to be, right? Like it used to be, if you don't go to the theaters, they think it's not a good film. But now,
No, that has nothing to do with it.
right,
No,
post pandemic, we see a lot of, really high quality films go straight to Netflix, go straight to Prime Video. So,
totally.
yeah,
Yeah, totally. No, for sure. For sure. No, it has nothing to do with that at all. Don't even relate to that whatsoever.
yeah,
So, the money that's being paid by the Netflix and the Amazons and the Hulus of this world, it's just huge. So, and especially when they do their own original productions.
yeah.
So good for Amazon. They picked it up. I know that, listen, they're going to get a lot of UFC viewers, but I'll get back to it from the trailer. If you watch it, I mean, Connor's in, bulked up and looking mean and doing his thing. And, it's just perfect for him. It's like, here's a role for you, Connor. Just be Connor.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So all good. Uh, the Oscar nominations, while we're on the subject of film, and I know, of course, you're not as film versed as I am, but I want to go over some of the Oscar nominations. The big surprise for everybody is Barbie. When I say big surprises, I don't think people were so much surprised that it got nominated. But what the surprising thing is here's my biggest beef when it comes with the Oscars.
Mm.
You get nominated for this, you get nominated for that, you get nominated for best script, or screenplay, you get nominated for all this type stuff, but then the director doesn't get nominated.
Yeah.
I
That is
mean,
interesting.
it's the
How does that work?
director's movie.
Right. How does that
You know,
work?
they made this movie, they directed it, they put it all together. How
Yeah.
do you snub the director?
Right. You're saying
And
like in spite of the director, everything else was great. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make any sense to me.
it doesn't make sense. And Margot Robbie, excellent job as Barbie. Ryan Gosling, he got nominated for Best Actor. When I saw the film, it didn't even occur to me that nominations would come as a result of the movie. Not that the movie was good; it was an excellent, extremely well-made movie.
I haven't seen it yet. Not surprising to you, but my wife said it was great.
Uh, well, you know what? Your wife probably collected Barbies. Like Kristen is a huge Barbie collector. She's got one of
Mm.
the original Barbies, and I actually went to see the film with her and her husband. I mean, I probably would not have gone on my own. It
Yeah.
was a free afternoon. We're going to see Barbie, and I went to see Barbie. So, but Ryan Gosling is very entertaining in the film. So good for him. Good for him. Margot Robbie, she did an excellent job. I just think if they nominated him, they should have nominated her.
Right.
All right, so let's go down the list here for people that are into films that are watching. And again, it's okay. You don't have to comment, TJ. Best Picture. I've not seen a lot of these, strangely enough for me. Scorsese now is the most nominated director in history, Killers of the Flower Moon. Barbie is nominated for, again, Best Picture, but you don't nominate the director. Does not make sense. Oppenheimer, if you got a chance to see Oppenheimer, that's 13 nominations. Big deal. Big deal for that. Best actor in a leading role, Bradley Cooper. I tell you, if somebody's career has really just gone the way of, you saw some of the original roles that he appeared in as an actor, which all actors have to appear in, any kind of role.
Mm.
He's just become a director, Oscar nominated actor, you name it. This guy's doing it. Good for him. For Matt, I always say this name wrong. Maestro, where he played the famous Maestro. I forget his name, but all done with makeup and the whole bit. He did a great job. Paul Giamatti is one of my favorite character actors, receiving an award nomination for Best Actor for The Holdovers. Jeffrey Wright, nominated before American Friction. Best actress in leading role, Annette Bening, who's one of my favorite actors from the past. Emma Stone, here's another actress that's really created quite a career for herself for the movie Poor Things, along with all the others. Um, Robert De Niro. I don't know how many nominations this is for him, but he's got nominated for Killers of the Flower Moon, the Scorsese movie, and Robert Downey Jr. Again, multiple nominations for him for Oppenheimer. And excuse me, I was wrong. Oh, no, I was right. Ryan Gosling and Barbie. I did say that.
Yep.
And one of my other favorite character actors, Mark Ruffalo, for Poor Things. So that's pretty much it. We'll leave it at that. All of you, the Oscars is now, I think, going to be in March. Used to be in April, but they're bringing these awards on pretty early. Any other nominations here worthwhile? No. I always enjoy watching the Oscars, though.
Yeah. What is your movie consumption like, though? Now, I know it's obviously down, but are you going to the theater, Bruce, or are you waiting to watch these in the comfort of your home?
I'm not happy to say or proud to say that I'm not watching as many movies as I used to watch. And I can't really pinpoint the exact reason.
Yeah,
I
but
have
when
only
you do
gone.
watch, is it in the theater or at home?
I'm watching in theaters at home and on planes. When it's got, I don't like watching on the little screen. If I got a, nice,
Yeah.
nice screen to watch, I'll enjoy a good movie. I will not watch movies on these little screens, where you can hardly hear them in the headsets. So it's not my choice. If I have to, I will. It's not my
Sure.
choice. I'm sorry. I don't mean to sound like a prima donna. It's just, if
I
I'm
get
going to
it.
watch a movie, I want to watch a movie. I want to
Yeah.
enjoy the movie.
And there's certain
No.
films that need to be in a theater too, like Top Gun, the remake or the second Top Gun. Like you couldn't watch, I mean, you could watch it on a plane, but like you need the full experience to really appreciate that movie's
Yeah.
robustness.
Or another fine film like Napoleon. It's an epic film. It's
Right.
a big screen film. It's just you
Mhm.
want to see everything and capture everything as best you can.
Yeah, especially with like a good film score, right? Like it needs you need to feel that in your chest. Even like good home theater systems don't necessarily make you feel the way that you're supposed to feel.
Exactly. Does your wife have any Barbie collectibles?
Probably somewhere. I don't know.
They're going through the roof.
I bet.
Yeah, they're going through the roof. They're getting really, really heavy. And while we're on the subject of collectibles too, I want to say that I was talking with Fanatics and Tops. I'm going to be doing a special thing with Fanatics and Tops on the Tops Fanatic cards. Something really, really cool. I can't talk about right now, but we just agreed to. The value of these cards and the Panini cards are just going through the roof.
Yeah, we talk about it. I mean, I think that the collectible companies have done a really great job at marketing things to be collectible because we talked about basically how everything kind of went to crap during the 90s, overproduction of everything, pre-internet, very hard to sort of make things rare when you can trade and sell and buy, online. Um, these cards, especially the Panini cards, and they're making these limited runs that are essentially they're setting the price for what these are from day one, and then the collectible market sort of adjusts over time. But I think it's cool that you can be in that collectible game and put your money where your mouth is, buying some of these things over the counter rather than trying to go on a hunt necessarily. You know what you're getting for the most part.
Yep, I agree. Let's get out of the film category here. We've talked UFC and film. We'll go into something else. Are you an In-N-Out eater? Burgers?
No. So I hate to say this. This is sacrilegious for someone who lives in California. I think In-N-Out is a little bit overrated. I don't think it's terrible. I think that a burger is only as good as its fries, and I don't like the In-N-Out fries. So
I like their burgers. I'm not crazy about their fries, but they're, again, we have another sign of modern days and what's happening here. In-N-Out's never closed a location ever. But now they closed a location in Oakland. They just cite crime. They just can't. They can't deal with it.
I mean, I definitely can see why that would be. Like, there's no time I've ever rolled up on an In-N-Out where there wasn't a line that was a significant wait. You know what I mean? Like, despite the name In-N-Out, it's not an In-N-Out experience.
Yep. I agree. But my boys, Henry and Root Boy, they love In-N-Out.
Yeah, it's not as good as a Culver's burger, in my opinion. But that's just me.
So with that being said, everybody, I will see you from the Octagon February 3rd, but I'll have a show before then. We'll talk next week. We'll be back next week with another show of It's Time Radio. TJ, thank you very much. Hope 2024 is rolling along strong for you. Very busy for me. Happy with everything. And everybody set your goals, write them down. When you set on that yellow brick road path to your future, make sure you be the best you can be, because then you're winning. And that's what we're all about on It's Time Radio. We're all about winning and enjoying life. Be a role model to your sphere of influence. Be positive, sending positive energy to everybody. Big cheers, no fears, and we will see you next week. Buffer out. Thanks, TJ.